Hello. It's my first book blog. I said blog. Vlog is the word. So for the last 3 books of my TBR, they are all of the same theme. So I decided to do a vlog version instead of just reviewing them separately, since they are of the same theme. I'm just repeating myself over and over again. I decided, well, at first I was gonna do something probably a little stereotypical, which was take or read the top 3 books of every category that won in the 2020 Goodreads awards. And that's fine, and I probably could have done it and it would have been fine. But a lot of those books, obviously, people have read and talked about at length. And some of them I've even already read, so it just got kind of complicated because on some of the lists I was doing books that were more towards the bottom of the top 20. Some of them I had never read at all. And then when I was planning the video, I saw a bunch of people uploading, like reading certain 2020 Goodreads books. So I said, all right, I'm gonna switch around a little bit. So for this year, in the coming months, I'm going to be reading 3 books from the top 20 fiction section that won on Goodreads throughout the years. I think Goodreads started their awards in 2011, I want to say. I was going to start from 2011 and go up to 2019, but when kind of poking at it, I don't know why, I decided to go backwards. So I'm reading from 2019 backwards to 2011. That's what I'll be doing. Since there's only, 8 or 9 years of Goodread awards, I'm probably going to switch genres after that and maybe look at other genres. We'll see when we get there. I don't know. So due to things like book availability, what I've already read and what I haven't read, and frankly just what I found more interesting and such, I picked 3 books from the top 20 fiction section of 2019 from Goodreads, and they are as such: A Woman Is No Man, Queenie, and Ask Again, Yes. Also, these books have very similar covers. I know they're not exactly the same, but like the painted type font, the like tealy blue-green color. It's very satisfying to kind of have like them kind of flanking Queenie a little bit. So I'm going to be reading A Woman Is No Man first, Queenie second, Ask Again, Yes last. I got book mail in the middle of my reading. This is for my February TBR. Also, I want to apologize for my appearance. This has kind of been my pandemic look for the past year. Like the only time I do my hair and makeup pretty much now is to film those reviews that I've been doing. Taking a break and going on a walk with my husband.
Hello.
That's him. Okay, so I didn't update last night because I was honestly too busy reading, and then I just went straight to bed. But I'm about halfway through A Woman Is No Man, And I'm having a great time. I shouldn't say a great time because it's not like it's a upper of a story, but I'm really liking it, and I've been going through it so quickly. I usually don't read 160 pages-ish in one sitting. Usually I'll read, 50 here, 50 there. And the past few books I've been reading have been very dense. I don't know how to describe it. I don't know, the past 3 books I've been reading have just felt so dense and heavy, even when sometimes the subject in that moment isn't dense and heavy, but it's taken me so long to read them where I can barely get through like 80 pages in a day. And so the fact of me reading I keep changing the number, I think it's 156, 157 in one night/one sitting that's really awesome to me. It's been a long time. I haven't done that this whole month, and so it's very refreshing. So far, it's about it goes in 2 different timelines. One is in 1990/91, and I think we'll keep going through the 90s a little bit. And then the second timeline is in 2008. The first timeline is with a girl named Isra, and she lives in Palestine, and she is getting, in an arranged marriage to a man who is an American citizen. His family is originally from Palestine, and they immigrated to America. And so she's kind of excited, but also apprehensive about moving to the United States because she doesn't know what the culture will be like, but she knows it's very different from Palestine. I think she kind of hopes she'll have more freedom in the United States after like watching her mom experience what she's experienced in Palestine, where kind of, women basically, cook and clean for the husband. They stay home, they take care of the children, and they have sons. And then, that's kind of their duty. And then their sons take care of them. And at this point, in the book, the part I'm in, she still has no freedom, even though she's in the United States. And it's just so interesting to me and sad. And it's very intriguing. Every other chapter, it changes timelines. And so the 2008 chapter is from the viewpoint of her firstborn daughter, of Isra's firstborn daughter, Dea. And Dea is 18, I think. They're both the same ages in these timelines, mostly. She's born in the U.S. and she's being raised by her grandparents, but she also has no freedom, basically, even though she is born and raised in the U.S. She basically just goes to school. She goes to a Muslim school for girls and then just comes back home. And her sisters do the same thing. I even flagged a point here so you can see how much freedom they don't have. In this little snippet, the grandparents are kind of fighting about how much freedom the 4 girls in the house have. The only thing that will lead them to trouble is being easy on them. Easy on them? He fixed Farida with a glare. Don't you think we shelter them enough? They come straight home from school every day, help you with all the household chores, never step foot out of the house without us. They don't have cell phones or computers, they don't talk to boys, they barely even have friends. They're good girls, Farida, and they'll be married soon enough. You need to relax. I know that the author, Etaf Rum, experienced something like this in her life. She grew up in Brooklyn, which is where this story is based, and from the couple interviews I've read from Etaf and reading, half of this book, it kind of seems like she sort of had an upbringing like Dea did a little bit. I'm not sure how similar they are, but I know there's definitely strong elements from Etaf's life that are in Dea's life for sure. And I think Isra, might be a combination of things that her grandparents and parents had to do. There's a lot of questioning, like, what is freedom? Going from Palestine to the U.S. Oh, I'll have more freedom. You still don't have freedom because you're confined to this house in Brooklyn, especially Isra. She's confined basically to a basement in Brooklyn where there's no windows, and she can't go outside at all unless she has a chaperone. And even those instances are extremely rare. Isra thought, oh, I'll have more freedom when I move to the United States. And Isra's mother said, you'll never have freedom because you're a woman. I haven't read anything like this in a long time. I'm pretty sure, yeah, I've never read anything from a Palestinian point of view, and I'm just totally enjoying myself. I'm absolutely engrossed. I'm flying through it. I'm gonna jinx it because and then it won't happen if I say it, but I probably will finish this today, and this will be the fastest consumed book for me this month so far. So I'm really excited, ready to read some more. Holy cow. I really enjoyed myself. With this book. I was totally enthralled the whole time. I finished it in about a day and a half, which for me is very quick. I think, how long is this book? It's 340 pages. That would probably take me about 3 or 4 days in my usual reading speed. But this, I was just steamrolling it. I don't know if there's more to say about it than what I already have said. The themes from when I videoed earlier is still going on throughout the book. And it's just about Dea, like, kind of finding herself and what she wants out of life. And also her mother's story and what her mother went through, you know, even though she was in the United States, in Brooklyn, and how she still didn't have freedom. And, you know, the continuation of what does freedom mean? What do you want? There's not too many things that can be spoiled in this book. There are a few things, and I won't talk about them, but there is a character that Dea discovers, becomes friends with, gets close with. It's hard to kind of describe, I guess. And she owns a bookshop called, I think it's called Books and Beans. Books and Beans. And I didn't know this, but Etaf owns, I believe, a bookstore / coffee shop where she lives in North Carolina called Books and Beans. And that's what her one of her Instagrams is called too. So I kind of felt like the author, definitely, there were pieces of her in all these characters. Like, I felt like and I don't want to say who the character is that owns the bookstore in the book, because I feel like that might be a little bit of a spoiler, because it's kind of shrouded in mystery for this really short time. But the person at Books and Beans is helping Dea kind of figure out what she wants and what kind of freedom she wants. And it kind of, to me, felt like it was the author's current self and her age talking to her younger self, Dea. And obviously they're not the same people, and Etaf is not exactly those two characters either, but it kind of reminded me of like what you would say to your younger self if you had the opportunity to have a similar experience and do it again. And gosh, the very ending of the book is just like, it's like a slam to me. It was such a good ending. The ending to the last book I read, Number 9 Dream, was very ambiguous. And well, I don't mind it. I didn't mind it for Number 9 Dream. It was kind of par for the course, it felt to me, for that book. But this was just like, whoa, wow. I did flag a passage because I did talk about this kind of subject in the last clip, about what did it mean coming to the United States from Palestine, and what is, you know, what does that mean for freedom, and what does that mean as your identity as an American? And it's just really quick. But that was a long time ago in Palestine, Dea said. We live in America now. Isn't that why you came here? For a better life? Well, why can't that mean a better life for us, too? We didn't come here so our daughters could be Americans, Farida said. And it continues on a little bit, but that was kind of a big point I wanted to point out, because that kind of thought process with the grandparents, Dea's grandparents, is reiterated a lot. Like, no, we didn't come here to become American, kind of thing. And I think that's very confusing to Isra and to Dea. So it just kept being perpetuated a little bit. This was 5 stars for me. This is the first 5 stars for January. I'll be honest, I don't give a lot of books 5 stars, percentage-wise, in what I read. So I always get really excited when I'm like, 5 stars, that's it, 5 stars. I get kind of giddy. Also, I'm supposed to film the review for Winterwood today, and I got the worst sleep I've had in a long time last night. I fell asleep at like midnight-ish, 11:30 midnight. I woke up at 2, and then didn't fall asleep again until 7 a.m. and then woke up very suddenly at 10:30 a.m. Thankfully, I have a flexible schedule, so I am able to sleep in and not, if I need to, and not wake up at a certain time. But I don't like waking up at 10:30. So I am going to be racked with guilt all day about not filming the review for Winterwood, because that's what I do. Today's Wednesday. That's what I do every Wednesday, is I film the reviews, and it's very okay, you do this, you edit it on Thursday, and you post it on Friday. It's very planned and structured, and I'm not following it because I feel like crap. So anyway, I'll be starting Queenie today. So that'll be something. It doesn't take, I can cuddle up and read. It's a new day. Hello. My bedroom is so dark. Well, it's also like a dark day, kind of. But I've had to turn all my settings on my camera up to max. So this clip probably won't look very good. But I forgot to mention, I don't know how, because it's a large part of the story, that A Woman Is No Man contains abuse, mainly spousal abuse. But I wanted to warn about that, just in case you decided you wanted to read it. So I started reading Queenie. I will admit I had already started a little bit because a few weeks ago, because I wasn't thinking about the order I was reading these books in necessarily. And about 20 pages into Queenie, I was like, wait, I kind of want to do this a vlog style, not like a review style. So I had already started a little bit a couple weeks ago, but I got to about page 160 last night, I think. I don't know how I feel about it so far, honestly. It's definitely funny. I do enjoy the friendships in it, the woman friendships. I think that's something I wish I had, a group of gals to support, each other. So I guess that's it's kind of in that aspect, in that small aspect, that it's kind of like Sex and the City-esque, because there's 4 of them, and they all have different personalities. But I am frustrated with the character of Queenie. I'm trying not to be, because she's going through a lot of things in the book. Her boyfriend at the beginning, they're taking a break, and her boyfriend's white, and you go through you have like snippets of their history throughout current times. And I don't know, like, he doesn't seem very redeemable because his family's racist and he doesn't really do anything to stop it. And they just kind of don't seem good for each other, but maybe that's what the character needs to go through, like realize that she can have better. But at the same time, like, she would pick fights with him all the time, and so I'm just like, I don't know. And she's definitely self-sabotaging a little bit right now, probably because she's depressed and has like a lot of past things going on. And so I'm getting frustrated only because I'm like rooting for her and she's making a lot of mistakes. And I'm like shaking the book. I'm like, stop it! There definitely seems to be a hint of a little bit of her past, like when she was younger and with her mother, and possibly some abuse via a stepdad. I'm not sure. We haven't really gotten there fully yet. I keep reading books about abuse this month. I think it's getting me down, man. So I really didn't do a good job explaining Queenie at all. I think it's because there's a lot of things being set up and I need to finish it to get a clear thought on what's happening, because it's just like events just keep happening and most of them aren't great, I'll say. And most of them have to do with men. And it's like struggling. And it's like, I think she's probably, it's just like, what the hell am I doing? And then there's also a lot of struggles, with being a Black woman, the things people say to her, people touching her. So I don't know. To me, if I had to guess, it's like everything's just building up into like this ultimate breakdown. So we'll see. Okay, so I've just finished Queenie. I liked it. It's definitely hard to read sometimes because she is self-sabotaging a little bit for a while and things just aren't going right and she keeps making the wrong choices. And you're kind of rooting for her. And it's kind of sad to see her go down this path a little bit. I don't want to give too much away. I don't know what would be considered a spoiler for this book. Honestly, it's kind of like the last one where it's like, is there a spoiler? It's kind of just a story about someone's life a little bit. And there's not like, crazy things, too many crazy things happening. But it does talk about depression and anxiety and panic attacks. And, it's just kind of her working on herself while also, dealing with being a mid-20s Black woman in London, dating white men or dealing with white people in her office and reading things on the news about what's happening in the US with a lot of Black Lives Matter stuff. And so there's just a lot coming at her, basically. We watch her work through it. Read her. I did mark a little passage because, I don't know, I just thought it was interesting and I just thought I would share it. She's talking to her therapist. Janet chuckled. Well, you aren't insane. I can tell you that now. I mean, what do you see when you look in the mirror when you think about yourself as a person? I try not to look in the mirror. I don't know. I'm just me, I guess. I'm nothing special. I'm not pretty. I'm not ugly. I just get on with it. I don't know. I looked at the frosted window again. This is a hard question. I don't know that passage kind of spoke to me because maybe it's something that some of us deal with. I know I have certainly felt like that, and I still feel like that sometimes, where you don't even want to look at yourself in the mirror because you just don't want to deal, basically. And for some reason, avoiding eye contact with yourself is the answer. But it made me tear up a few times, just watching someone go through this journey. I said it again. I'm just saying the same things over and over again. Just reading about it and connecting with it a little bit in that sense. There's so many asshole guys in this book. Oh my God. I wanted to punch them all, honestly. the only good man in this book is her grandfather, I'm gonna say. I don't know. I give Queenie 4 stars. I think if you would have asked me earlier this morning when I filmed, I would have said 3. But I was almost halfway through the book this morning. And I would say it really turned for me. And I enjoyed myself. So the last book in this vlog is going to be Ask Again, Yes. And I will start that tomorrow. I don't really have the mental capacity to start another book tonight. But I'm excited. We'll see. I'm kind of scared. I hope it's not too depressing. Really hard to find good lighting in my house at night. I don't want to set up any lighting for this. Like, I don't feel like that's good. I was like chilling on the couch gonna film, and the lighting in my living room is, I like to keep it like moody, so it's like I had my ISO turned all the way up. I look like crap because the light above the couch is like super dramatic. Anyways, I started Ask Again Yes today. And wow, I'm going through it. I'm at 127 pages. But anyways, I'm digging it so far. It's told through the perspectives, actually. It's about 2 families, and they are neighbors early on. They stop being neighbors eventually, but it's about 2 neighbors, and the fathers of these 2 neighbors, they're married couples, and then they eventually have some children. The fathers are both police officers, and they knew each other from police academy, and then their first job together. It's like Brian and Francis, and their first jobs together were at the same precinct, and they were partners. Francis and his wife had moved out to a fake suburb in New Jersey from Manhattan. And then shortly after, Brian and his wife moved in because Francis had told them about it. It starts in the 70s. It shows them, Francis and Lena, who's his wife, have 3 kids. And then, what is it, Anna or Anne? I can't remember. And Brian have 1 son named Peter. I feel like I'm explaining this so poorly because it's kind of hard to explain. Francis and Lena have 3 daughters, but we focus mainly on the youngest one, Kate, who is Peter's best friend. There's obviously something wrong with Anna, and we don't really know what. It's something psychologically, and they don't say what. It's definitely depression mixed with something else, possibly bipolar, or I'm not really sure. You see it kind of from the beginning because from Lena and Francis's perspective, Anna's really rude to them, like for no reason. And they're kind of just like, what's her problem? This eventually culminates into something. I feel like I can't say because it's kind of like a major plot point that might be spoily. I'm not sure. And so we see the struggle with that for Peter, her son. And then, Kate, his best friend, sees the struggle that he's going through. Francis and Lena struggle from it. And it all comes to a head. And right now where I am, they're kind of going through the aftermath of what happened. I don't know. I don't know where this is going. It's definitely sad. It's definitely going to be probably more about Peter and Kate than the parents, were like the first quarter of it was about the parents. I think it's obviously turning more towards a Peter and Kate story. So we'll see. I don't think I'm going to read tonight because it's Friday. I got some raspberry cider and I'm just going to chill with my husband. Yeah, but even though I explained it horribly, it's good so far. Okay, so we went out. We're part of this thing called Cake Club. Our wedding cake designer started doing this thing during the pandemic called Cake Club, and you sign up and you get 3 cakes, and they're every 2 weeks. So she has specific dates that you come and you come and pick them up. And so it's every 2 weeks you get a new cake, and it's a random cake that she'll make, and she makes it all the same for everybody that's a part of Cake Club. And so today is our second cake. The first one, I think Kevin, my husband, got it for me because the first one coincided with my birthday, and then the last one coincides with Valentine's Day. So it kind of works out. We have a cake for some special occasions. So yeah, we're out getting that, and then we're getting some dim sum. That's what we do on the weekends. We go mask up, run some errands, and then sit in the house. It's like the only time we leave the house ever is usually the weekends. Hello. I'm just gonna hold my camera because I don't feel like, my hair is all crazy. I don't feel like trying to set it up somewhere and making it balance correctly. By the way, that cake I videoed, I hope I put it in this vlog. So good. It is coconut cake, lemon mousseline, so that's what's like in the center, and then on top is a hibiscus Swiss meringue buttercream. Oh, so tart, so delicious. Oh my gosh. Anyways, I am, where am I? 2 something. I'm at like 60% according to Goodreads. 231 of Ask Again, Yes. It's not bad. I feel like I'm kind of getting, I don't want to say a lull, but maybe. I think it's because like the first quarter of the book, like something big happens. And so it's like keeping your interest, and there's, you know, after effects of it and stuff like that. So you're generally curious, but now time is moving very quickly in this book. Like, it's kind of like you get like little vignettes of each character's life. So if it's on Peter, it will be like Peter for, you know, it was like he was a sophomore in high school, and then suddenly he's a senior, and then suddenly he's in his third year of college or whatever. So it's really fast, and it does that for all the characters. Like years, like 2 years will just go by. I'm like, oh, well, okay. So I actually kind of like that aspect of it, because I feel like it's speeding things along in terms of growth and what life is and stuff like that. I also feel dumb, and I'm gonna blame the raspberry cider I drank last night, but I was questioning if one of the mother's characters' name was Anna or Anne. It's Anne, and it's literally on the back of the book. I don't know what I was thinking. It's Anne. Anyways, I do like that we get to see more of Anne, because we didn't really get to see her internal thoughts for a long time, except for like one really short moment when she has an episode. So we get to see how she feels about things, which I really enjoy, because she's a really stoic person, but she's also struggling. So it's a lot, but I really like that aspect. I don't see where this is going really in the long run with all the characters. It is kind of Romeo and Juliet-esque with Peter and Kate, because both of the parents, most of them, are like, stay away from each other. But yeah, I think we're just in a, you know, a mid book lull that happens sometimes with some books. So hopefully we'll get past it tomorrow. And it's only about 7 now, but I have things to work on. So I'm done reading for today. All right. I finished Ask Again, Yes. Hopefully this is in focus. My camera really likes to go in and out of focus, and I feel like it's just going to go out of focus like the second I look away from the screen. So I finished this today. I'm excited. It was all right to me. It wasn't bad at all. I just want to point that out for some reason. I think last night I said it was in a little bit of a lull for me, and it definitely was. While we were seeing history of some characters that I kind of wanted to see the history of, actually, but I can't even this book is so hard for me to complete my thoughts. This is like gonna be a freaking mess. It's about these two families, and how they're so intertwined with the event that happened with the parents, and then the children, you know, being romantically involved and wanting to be with each other, and the parents not wanting it because of the big event. Yeah, I don't know. I just it was very conflicting, because I did feel for some of the characters, and then I wouldn't feel for them. I don't know why I was so conflicted with this book. It's definitely a look at like how trauma can happen to people, and does that trauma get passed down to your children? Or, you know, just because your parents did one thing or acted one way or something, will you be the same? And why do so many people judge you on what your parents did at one point? But I found myself towards maybe the last 50, 60 pages, I was just kind of, I don't know. It's, I think because there is a lot of excitement happening at the beginning of the book, it was a big crescendo at the beginning, and so everything after is like this. I think the ending was fine. It wasn't disappointing or anything. It did just kind of end, but there was a little bit of a small wrap up in some way for some areas. And while there was a couple of things I felt weren't resolved, but that's kind of how life is. Like, your relationships with your family members aren't always resolved or complete. So I think it was pretty realistic. It wasn't like, wow, I'm obsessed, you know, this is such a great family novel and things like that. I just think it was okay. And I liked the way it was written. Yeah, 3 stars, fine. I also, very satisfying to me, finished this on January 31st, which is obviously the last day of January, and this completes my January TBR. So I'm gonna do that. I didn't think I was gonna make it through January to finish this. I thought it would bleed into February a little bit, so I finished what I said I would on time. So yeah, this kind of concludes the vlog. I kind of did I think I should have read these the opposite way maybe, because A Woman is No Woman was 5. Queenie, I was kind of thinking about my rating. I gave it a 4. Honestly, I think it was kind of a 3.5 that I just rounded up to 4, and that's kind of what I'm kind of saying for Goodreads, kind of. So it's kind of like 5, 4, 3. So I kind of went down in my ratings. But anyway, I hope this vlog was semi-enjoyable. I'm sorry. You know, it's hard because obviously during the pandemic, we're all not doing much. But I hope to do this again for February. I'm planning on doing it for February. So if you didn't enjoy it, then don't watch the next one, because it probably won't be that much different. But I hope to see you all for February. Bye.